And we're back. Okay, now I am going to show you how to apply the facial hair. Again, every entertainer is different and every entertainer has been taught different. I can only teach it the way I was taught. So as you see here, we have a setup. Am I this organized in the dressing room? Well, I start out that way. But it doesn't always be the case at the end of the night. You know, you're going to need your brushes and you have your facial hair. I keep my facial hair in an Altoids box. Any small container will do. That's just what I use. I have my black eyeshadow, my brushes. I don't need these anymore, so these can go bye-bye. You're still going to need your clippers for the 5 o'clock shadow, but we'll get to that later. Now, some entertainers draw their facial hair on first so that they have a definitive line to follow. I can do it either way. For this exercise, I'm going to put it on first before I apply the hair. Some entertainers use eyeliner. I don't. I use black eyeshadow. And because my facial hair is dark, you won't be able to see the black eyeshadow underneath the facial hair. So depending on how thick you want your hair, I have a wide one for a wider chin strap, and I have a smaller one for a smaller chin strap, and I usually use this for goatees and whatnot. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the mustache and the goatee first. Okay, putting on your mustache, again, it really depends on you. I've seen entertainers start in their noses and come out this way. I've seen them go all the way across. Play with it. Don't be afraid to play with it because you have your own style. All entertainers are different and versatility is a very good thing. So what we're going to do is start inward. And just put it on. You can make it as thick or as thin as you want. You know, facial hair can be a lot of fun because you get a bunch of different looks. You get on the stage 1 minute and you look one way. Go in the dressing room, change your facial hair, you look like a completely different person. Okay, you see the mustache is drawn on. Then I'll start with a small soul patch. Smack that in the middle. Now, you can leave it like this if you want to, but again, it's up to you. Play with it. I am so not used to doing this without a cigarette. You know, all entertainers have their rituals. That would be mine. But my wife says I have to be professional. Now I'm going to bring this down. Now you want to make sure that your lines are clean and even, because these are the lines that you're going to follow with the glue. You have to remember that your facial hair is an important part of the illusion. You know, it feels really weird to do these with the girls out, but it is what it is. My bifocals are messing with me. Now, if you're just starting this for the first time, you're not going to be perfect, and don't expect yourself to be. It takes practice. I see old pictures of me from when I first started this, and my goatee was nothing but a straight line, which I find comical today. By the way, you can thank my wife Vicky for doing this, because this isn't the kind of thing I could have done with just one hand. Say hi, babe.
Hello.
You're going to have your days where one night you'll get it absolutely perfect the first time, and then you'll have your nights where your facial hair wants to argue with you. So I suggest you get to the venue maybe about an hour and a half before the show. That way you can actually sit down and take your time with it. Okay, now chin straps. Again, every entertainer is different. I've seen entertainers use makeup to contour their faces before they do all the chin straps and whatnot. I don't. But you have to be careful when applying chin straps. They usually start at the top of the ear. And this takes a while. You may have to practice it a lot to get it just right. I don't have a roly-poly face, but I do have to construct my jawline to make it look more masculine. So usually when I get down to the bottom of the ear, right here where the jawline connects, I kind of corner it out. You see, it's not a really, really sharp corner, but it does give that more masculine look. Again, this takes practice. Especially when you're wearing glasses that have bifocals. And when you look up, it sort of kind of messes with you. But again, I'm older than dirt. Now, I've gotten to the point where I don't necessarily have to draw this on. I can actually now do this without drawing it on. But if I'm doing a specific look, that's usually when I'll do it. So now I have the chin straps, and this is a frontal view. Ignore the girls. Okay. So now you have your spirit gum. Again, you can get it from any costume store. The same place you get the crepe hair. You can order it online. And the way this works, you're going to have to come up here, babe, unless you're going to zoom. The way this works is you are going to follow the lines. You don't want a whole lot of glue on the brush. You want to take off that little itty bitty excess. And then once you apply it, you want to wait like a second or two. And let it get tacky. And then you're just going to grab a pinch of your hair. And you're going to start at the top. And just tack the hair on. Now, at first, it may look really scruffy and out of place, but don't worry about that yet. I usually do one half of my face and then the other. I don't put the glue on my whole entire face at the same time. Now when you first see it and it looks like this, you look like a hobo. Don't panic. It's always going to look like that. My suggestion, when you do your facial hair, don't get dressed yet, because there's going to be hair all over the place. And as you can see, your fingers are going to get all kinds of messed up. But that's okay. You want to hold your, whatever container you're using for your facial hair, you want to hold it underneath where you're patting so that you don't lose most of it. I mean, some of it is going to get away, but that's okay. Okay. Now you have your facial hair on and you look like a hobo. You're going to want a blush brush, and it's going to you're going to want it to be one of those really, really soft ones, not one of those really hard bristle ones. You want it to be a really, really soft one. And then once it's on, you're going to go in and just brush the excess hair away. Which is why I told you don't panic. Now see, I can tell that this side is thinner than this side. So now you can go back in and even it out. And then you want to take the brush and you want to pat the hair down. Okay, I have a special brush. And I don't even know what the hell this is supposed to be used for. I really don't. But I usually go in underneath the chin straps and underneath the chin. And I wipe off that hair and all even the hair out. And you always want to make sure that your chin straps and everything are even. You know, you don't want one side a whole lot bigger than the other side, and this side is patchy and this side isn't. The whole point of male illusion is to look like a male. You don't want to go out there half-assing your face. I've had some entertainers ask me about 5 o'clock shadows. So the last thing I'm going to teach you to do is a 5 o'clock shadow. And you could use this method for chest hair as well if you're using a bigger brush. For a 5 o'clock shadow, you use makeup brushes. And the bigger the brush, the bigger the 5 o'clock shadow is going to be. In other words, if you wanted a full beard, a full 5 o'clock shadow beard, you'd use a bigger brush. But if you just want the 5 o'clock shadow just along the chin straps and whatnot, you would use a smaller brush. Smaller brush. Sorry. You're going to need a brush, and you're going to need hairspray. Those two things you're definitely going to need. Now, if I can get you to show down here, baby. For 5 o'clock shadows, you need your facial hair to be very, 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 very fine. So you're going to go back in with your clippers and keep cutting until the facial hair is really very fine. The last thing you want is a 5 o'clock shadow and hair sticking out of it. It's not what a 5 o'clock shadow is about. Again, it can be time consuming. And what I usually do is I usually put my 5 o'clock shadow hair in the lid. That way I really don't lose any. You see how messy this can be? And you want to lay it flat out. See? You got it, baby? Mm-hmm. Okay. Up here. Then you're going to take the brush. And some people use, I've seen entertainers use hair gel and do it the same way. But again, I can only teach what I was taught. You're going to spray the brush. So you're like literally going to saturate the brush with hairspray. Just shake it a little. And then you're going to dip the brush directly into the facial hair. Now 5 o'clock shadows are very time consuming. And you'll see why. I'm going to give myself a shadow just up in this area. You're going to just pat. Like as if you were painting. Now again, it's not always going to go easy the first time. So you may have to repeat this process quite a few times. But it's really, really that simple. There's nothing, like I said, it's not rocket scientist. And it can be a lot of fun to play with. Like I've had zigzags on my face. And my nephew, Ray Romeo, actually writes his name in his facial hair. It's amazing. And it takes him like 3 hours to do. But he gets it in there. Playing with your facial hair can be a lot of fun. You can become a lot of different people. You know, I tell people that I get paid to suffer from multiple personality disorder. And there you see, you have the shadow. Realistic. My lines are even. And again, you can do the same thing for if you're doing an open chest, like your shirt is open from here. If you're doing an open chest and you want chest hair just here, you can use this method the same way. Now, some entertainers, like I don't have any eyebrows. My eyebrows are very, very, very thin and not the most masculine. I usually use an eyeliner to make them somewhat thicker. Once in a blue moon, I will actually take the time to take the same facial hair I do for a 5 o'clock shadow, that same thin hair, and I'll actually apply it to my eyebrows. But for today, this is just the way we're going to do it. Because I'm just giving you the basics. Again, every entertainer is different. My opinion on just drawing on your facial hair, I will tell you, I was taught that it is something that you should not do. It does not look realistic, and it sends a message that you're just lazy about your craft. However, I have spoken to an entertainer that I thoroughly respect, and he gave me a different viewpoint on it. His name is Landon Sider, and he actually draws on his facial hair. But it looks so realistic, it's ridiculous. I've never seen anybody do it such as that. I was taught that this was the way to do it. You glue it on, and you know, because it looks realistic. And then you have the fans that want to come up and they're just going to stare at you. And they're going to be like, can I? Yes, you can touch it, but please don't wipe. You know what I'm saying? It looks realistic even when they're face to face with you. For me, it's all about the illusion. Again, every entertainer is different. Now, you don't necessarily have to use this method. If you speak to an entertainer that shows you a different way to do it and it works for you, then that's fine. But it's all about the illusion. Male illusion is just that. You don't want to be a girl in boys' clothes. You want to actually portray the illusion of being what you're not. So I hope this has been very, very helpful. I want to thank my wife for videotaping it, and thank y'all for you know, listening in. Until next time, this is AJ Menendez, Master Male Illusionist, signing off.